Hello and welcome to our look at all the eye catchers from round 3 of the NAB AFL Under-18 Championships. Hi, I'm Jason Phelan from afl.com.au. I'm joined by Kevin Sheehan, the AFL National Talent Manager, and Mick Ablett, the Academy's Development Manager. Shifter, how did you see the third week of action?
Loved it. Of course, we had the Victorian sides travelling across to Adelaide and to Perth for the start of round 3, and with them, literally hundreds of recruiting managers and scouts as they want to have a closer look at the future stars of the game, and they weren't disappointed at the end of it all.
And the first game we went and we're all in Adelaide. It was a beautiful day down at Alberton. How did you see the SA versus Vic Metro?
Yes, there were a couple of shocks, of course. Jimmy Toumpas, the captain of SA, pulled out during the week, had a hip injury. That was well known. But then on match day, it was Troy Menzel, the star of the initial rounds of matches. He'd kicked 9 and 6, was a late withdrawal with a groin injury. So they were big upsets. But the biggest surprise then was, of course, the big in for the Vics in Joe Danaher, the 200-centimetre key forward, with all attention on Joe in his first game of the championships.
And some eye catches throughout the game?
Well, of course, Big Joey didn't let him down. Very early in the game, he made a statement with a great mark up in the square, and he's one to really look out for in the future. He's signed father-son, of course, to Essendon, and will play at least 2 games in the championship. But Vic Metro, well, they led by 24 points at quarter time, so they jumped out of the blocks and were 13 points up at half time. And the eye catcher, I think, for the Vics was their number 12 in Jack Billings. This 180-centimetre medium forward just presented brilliantly up forward, whether it was marks on the lead or snaps for goal. He was really classy. He'd kicked 4 goals in the first half, and he was really, really hard to contain. For SA, they had their own dangerous small forward, of course, in Matthew McDonough. He was sensational. He just couldn't miss. Popped through about 3 goals from the 50-metre mark. So again on the lead with great clean hands and that wonderful accurate kick for goal. He'd kicked 5 first half goals, in fact, McDonough, and even a left foot snap at one stage helped keep SA in the game. The Vic Metros, they withstood every challenge. They won by 18 points in the finish in a very high standard game, and Billings in the second half kicked his 5th goal to top off a great match, but he had plenty of support. I love the work of Jonathan O'Rourke. I thought probably best on the ground even in the first half. The number 14 for Vic Metro is in superb touch. He had 21 disposals. He kicked a brilliant goal on the run. And of course then they had Nathan Rovert, who played in the midfield, a diminutive guy at about the 174-centimetre mark, but gee, he's an accumulator of possessions. He just racked up 34 through the midfield, provided great supply for his forwards, and he put a few of them lace out as well, really making it easy for the Vic Metro side up forward. Also catching the eye for the Crow Eaters was its 189-centimetre medium defender, Matthew Scharenberg, the number 29. This guy is well, terrific overhead. He uses the ball so smartly. A very gifted player. He's bottom age, so forget about him for the draft this year. You'll need to be right up there in the early selections next year to get hold of this guy. So he had 25 disposals across half-back, 6 marks. He's certainly a future star on the rise.
So, yes, the Vic Metro boys, they looked to have it going away early on, but ended up being a close game with just the 18 points in it.
Well, a terrific match to start off what turned out to be a super weekend, and the feedback from the recruiting people there, gee, there could have been 25 AFL players in that game, so they were wrapped in the standard of what they saw, and that close competition makes for great talent ID.
And thanks, Shifter. Mick, you kept going and had a look at the WA versus Vic Country game the next day. Yeah,
Jay, certainly did. Fantastic, absolutely enthralling game of footy it was. The lead changed a number of times, even right through to the middle to latter stages of the last quarter there. Vic Country boys, they got jumped. I think they might have been a little bit shell-shocked early. The WA team came out hard, led by 20 points at quarter time. Found themselves a straight kick, a goal in front at half time, and you know, the Vics managed to work their way back into it, but you know, and found themselves up by 3 points at 3/4 time. So the game was right there in the balance. The Sound Gropers on that nice big deck at Patterson Stadium certainly weren't going quietly. So they managed to put through 4-5 to 1-2 in the last quarter, Jace, in an impressive fight back from the WA boys to give Coach Michael Pratt plenty to smile about. He's had his ups and downs through the first couple of rounds, but geez, it's a big win against a probably a more favoured Vic Country side. So,
who did the damage for the Sandgropers?
Yeah, look, it's a couple of familiar names here, Jace. Number 29, Jack Martin. He was all class once again. Best on ground performance, 23 disposals and a couple of goals. Brilliant snap on the left early in the game. He's just very, very composed. The other fella who we've mentioned on previous weeks, Jesse Hogan. Geez, he's a beast. The man-child, some people referred to him as. And geez, didn't he dominate his opposition in the first quarter? He was near on unstoppable. Fantastic results. So 9 disposals, 6 marks, 4 of them contested and 3 goals from him. Another couple of guys that bobbed up, another couple of power forwards for them. They've got a couple of big bodies down there. Mason Shaw, and number 21, power forward from South Freo. He managed to find some form, chipped in with 4 goals, 2 really important ones in the last quarter. One, a really strong mark, contested mark on the lead. Another one, he actually showed a little bit of finesse and dribbled one through as well. So really good to see him find some form. The other one who we haven't heard much about, Jace, number 23, Marco Paparone. 193 centimetre forward, finished with 19 disposals, had 6 inside 50s and kicked 2 goals as well. Covers the ground really well, this guy. He managed to push up, got a lot of possession around the wing and through the midfield as well, so he was super important for him. The Vic Country boys, Jace, no surprises here. The thoroughbred Lockie Whitfield, the number 9, super impressive again. He just about willed his team across the line. 27 disposals, it was a game high, 3 goals. He did the lot. Played off half forward, worked through the midfield, even found a little bit of the footy down back, but couldn't quite drag him across the line. But geez, he was super impressive again. Another couple of boys, one that we talk about eye catchers on this program. I reckon this kid would have had the recruiters salivating. He was super. The number 17, Taylor Garner. 20 possessions, 8 marks and 3 goals for this kid. Just his clean hands, his ability to present up at the footy, and I haven't seen too many kids that are a nicer set shot for goal than this fella. So kid out of the Dandenong Stingrays, super impressive, and he'll certainly be one to watch come rounds 4 and 5. Just the last one, I thought Darcy Gardner started forward, went on to the big man-child Jesse Hogan after quarter time, and did an absolute super job on him. Didn't find a lot of the footy himself. Little bit of, no, it's a big call, but he's got a little bit of Stephen Silvani about him, Das. Just the way he gets in and physically competes with his opposition, gives nothing away. So fine performance by him. Really good to see, you know, a key defender find some form and shut down a very, very talented player. So at the end of the day, I think the WA boys, their pressure was sensational. They really got out into space on the bigger decks and used the footy in typical WA fashion.
Thanks, Mick. Well, yeah, it's certainly a big weekend of action. And Shifter, we turn over to the Division 2 boys for the conclusion of round 3.
It continues this weekend. The Queenslanders play host to the Tasmanians up there in Brisbane on Saturday. And, of course, on the Saturday as well, New South Wales ACT play host to the NT. So that's the end of the 3rd round. Then after that, we're heading into Victoria for rounds 4 and 5. We look forward to that. The first of the games being down at Simmons Stadium there in Geelong on the Friday. So mark that one down. It will be on Fox Sports. All the coverage here on AFL.com as well.
Well, thanks for that, boys. Yes, another big weekend of action, and stay tuned next week for our look at the Division 2 conclusion of round 3 of the NAB AFL Under-18 Championships.